Okay, so what we're looking at now is we've gone for a bit of an upgrade. This wasn't exactly a very expensive backpack. It was probably 50 odd bucks from Amazon, but it looked like it was really good as far as being able to handle the size of all of the stuff that I'm looking at putting in here. The laptop, there's a second little screen that I've got, which I'll include a link to that in the description below. Really, really helpful for traveling. But what we've got here is some foam with little cuts in it, so I can pull apart pieces. I'll pull little pegs out and I'll be able to make sure that the remote control or the drone or whatever it is that sits in here actually gets nested inside nice and comfortably. When I ordered this, really grateful for the fact that the company that I ordered it through made a mistake and they sent 4 of these, and they're a pretty decent depth too. So if we grab the remote control and stick that there, you can see that they're pretty close. So I've got 2 of them in here. There was supposed to be 2 of these and then a couple of really thin layers to go over the top and the bottom, but got 4 of these. So Chrissy's going to get the chance to see if she can use 2. So what I'm going to do now is just kind of place and configure what I've got and see how it's going to fit with these units here.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. It's not me and you, it's I and I. One life, one source, one most high. I and I come from Jah, no lie in that truth. Same flame in the elder, same spark in the youth. Know me and you, know them and we. One light shining eternally. I and I come from Jah, no lie in that truth. Same flame in the elder, same spark in the youth. Know me and you, know them and we. One light shining eternally. See the lion, see the dove. Same heartbeat, same word, love. From the river to the Holy Land, from the mountain to the desert sand. Skin might change, tongue might sound, but the soul of I and I is always found. Don't get fooled by the flesh and name. The breath inside, we all the same. Jah made the tree, Jah made the sea, and planted that same root inside of me. Not just me, not just you, but the whole wide world is sacred too. I and I come from Jah, no lie in that truth. Same flame in the elder, same spark in the youth. Know me and you, know them and we. One light shining eternally. I and I rise, never divided. Jah in the heart, truth can't be hid. I and I chant, roots like a tree. Love is the fruit, unity the seed. Every time I look in your eye, I see the same peace of the Most High. No need to fight, no need to claim. We all return to the same flame. I and I know, deep inside, one ocean, just different tide. I and I come from Jah, no lie in that truth. Same flame in the elder, same spark in the youth. Know me and you, know them and we. One light shining eternally. I and I come from Jah, no lie in that truth. Same flame in the elder, same spark in the youth. Know me and you, know them and we. One light shining eternally. Jah Jah, oh I and I. Jah Jah, oh I and I. Same breath, same sky. One love, I and I. One name, many roads, one flame always glows. Chant the sound, let it flow from the crown down to the toes. singing holy names in a reggae rain. My name, many roads, one flame always glows. Chant the sound, let it flow from the crown down to the toes. Jai Ma, Jai Ram, sweet like sugar cane, singing holy names in a reggae rain. Ganga flowing through the sound of my soul, rhythm in my breath, Jah make me whole. Om Namah Shivaya in the echo of the trees. Best line carry me on waves of peace. No more war, no more blame, just a dance of love in the holy name. One name, many roads, one flame always glows. Chant the sound, let it flow from the crown down to the toes. Jai Ma, Jai Ram, sweet like sugar cane, singing holy names in a reggae.
Okay, so we are going to throw all of this together. We've got all of the slots cut for the pieces that we need, and we've got the backpack ready to go. So let's see how it all falls in. Interesting. I'm not sure if I'm going to need to use the straps that go across it. Maybe not. Soon find out. That seems to be sitting in quite nicely. So we've got the microphones. Battery packs. Controller. I'm going to put that face down. The little whizzy thing. Goes that way. A little space down the back here for being able to store the additional propellers and the screwdriver. So that'll stop them from getting bent and snapped around. So that's pretty much the front there sorted out. Because we do a lot of work when we're traveling, I've got an additional screen here. So this is a pretty slick little MSI unit, which that one just plugs in by the USB there straight into the computer.
16 inches.
16 inches, yeah. And it's a it's got its own speakers and all that sort of stuff on there. Pretty reasonable. But definitely makes working a lot easier. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be putting that in this way so that that's protected from any impacts on the front of the bag. Obviously going to try and reduce as much of that as possible. But I've recessed these parts down to lower than that foam surface. So the screen's not actually going to be touching any of those parts there. And that'll also have a layer of protection for the drone itself too. So that's all that's going to go in the front there. I've actually got around over here somewhere. There's a couple of little bits and pieces. There's here we go. The bag with our two little critters. So we've got a little microphone, fluffy spiders, they're going to go in, and a couple of cords. So probably put all the cords together just to make that easier to manage for now. These two little critters here, I'm wondering if they're probably going to be better off just sitting down there on top of the controller. So we're going to be using the controller. We're going to be using the microphone, so we're going to need those as well. So I think that's probably, for how I'm dealing with this, a good way to go about that. So let's see if it's worth strapping this together. Probably not a bad idea. Gives it a bit more stability and security. Okay. The next thing is our laptop. At the moment, this unit does weigh a little bit. Say, put an extra 2 terabyte hard drive in there, but probably going to be looking at upgrading to a newer laptop because that one's really struggling at the moment. And if we're doing that, we'll end up going for two 2 terabyte hard drives, or maybe a 2 and a 4. So towards the back of the backpack here, bring this back down on screen for you in a second. So there's a zip that runs along the entire back and the sides. So what we're able to do here is open that all the way up, and that could be a very easy place for us to keep the laptop. Given that these are set up to be airport friendly, we can basically just open it up and run it through. We'll take advantage of that and just chuck the laptop in the back here. I'll flip it around so that flat edge is against there. So outside of the power supply, there really isn't anything else that I'd be planning on putting in here because I want to try and keep the weight as low as possible. Maybe a couple of little fittings, a few bits and pieces, which I'll show you what I'm going to be doing with this little gadget and the drone later. The rest of it's pretty much going to go into check luggage, and this will be what comes with us as far as carry on, to be able to make sure that this stuff is protected and secure. And it's the sort of thing that we'll use pretty consistently.
Do you want to weigh it?
Yeah, we'll weigh it, yeah. We'll zip it up and we'll weigh it and see how it goes. There may be a bit more. I reckon there's a bit more in there. I think we'd be lucky if that goes over 5 kilos. Be really lucky if that is anywhere near there. So the bag was very light to begin with. All right, here comes my beautiful assistant with the scales.
You have to put it on.
Got to try and get it back to weight. Come on. There we go. Got a 0. All right, nothing hanging around underneath there. Let's go from the top. 6 kilos. Okay. A little heavier than I thought, but that's all right. So we're allowed up to 7 kilos for check luggage, or carry-on luggage. So an additional 1 kilo going in there isn't really going to be much at all. Got a little bit of a hack that I'll share with you later, and I'll show you the jacket that I use to be able to load additional stuff into. This is one of the hacks that we've used plenty of times previously. We're traveling around, and if we've got things that are a little bit too heavy to go into backpacks and whatever. Years ago, I got a fishing vest and sorted it out for photography, and simply loaded the pockets up with whatever there was, the additional stuff that was needed. That if I didn't want to have all of it lumped around, then I'll just chuck power supplies, whatever it might be in there, extra batteries, and did a great job. Great thing about this is when you're going to check in and you're wearing it, they're not weighing your jacket. So you take it off at security and run it through the scanners and it'll all be fine, everything that's in there. If they need to go through pockets or anything like that, it's pretty easy. But so it's a nice little hack for when you're flying is the heavier stuff. If you've got a jacket with some decent pockets on it, load them up. And that way you don't need to worry too much about the space in your bag being taken up by small heavy things like power supplies and batteries. So that's the strategy with this. We're going to do the job with that. And look, there's only pockets on the front. There's a couple of zippers here and a few other little hidden ones around there. But another jacket that I had pockets along the back and all that sort of stuff. So we've just been making sure that wherever we go, we're catching the flags of the countries that we've been to and chucking them on. I've got mine, Chris has got hers. We've got a few that we've actually got a few years worth that we need to update on in. So she'll probably need a bit of fabric extended off the bottom of it to be able to have the rest of the flags that are going on her one. So anyhow, that's what we'll be doing, loading that up and just getting ready and being able to use this for whatever extra weight we can carry.